it is the county assembly and the Senate, Your Lordship.
Yes.
Your Lordship, under Article 177(1), a county assembly is elected office. People of Meru County.
Yes.
Further, Your Lordship, under Article 90.
Yes.
Your Lordship, under Article 1(2), the Constitution states the people may exercise their sovereign right either directly or through their representatives. In this regard, Your Lordship, I would like this court to perhaps take my view that when an impeachment is done, Your Lordship, it is by the people, Your Lordship. It is not the senators, it is not the MCAs, Your Lordship. It is the people who are actually exercising this right, Your Lordship.
Yes.
Your Lordship, this position is supported by the case by your sister, which is Constitutional Petition number 4 of 2024, which is Nyamira. The case is Purity Mora Kirera versus the Senate and the Speaker of the Senate, Your Lordship.
Nyamira, is the petition number?
It is number 4 of 2024, Your Lordship. It is Nyamira.
Yes, party.
The parties is Purity Mora Kirera versus the Senate and the Speaker of the Senate, Your Lordship. Your Lordship, this case can be found at pages 157 to 204 of our list and bundle. Yes.
Was an appeal lodged against this decision?
Your Lordship, this case, this was just the interim phase, the ruling phase. The case was still ongoing.
Was there an appeal for that ruling against that ruling?
Not to my knowledge, Your Lordship. Not to my knowledge.
No appeal against ruling?
Yes, in fact, Your Lordship, lighting of the submissions in the main petition, the matter is ongoing, Your Lordship. Scheduled for.
Yes.
Just to go back on that, Your Lordship, your sister took the view that I implore this court to adopt,
yes,
which is that when an impeachment occurs, Your Lordship, it is not just the senators, it is not just the MCAs, Your Lordship, it is the people of Meru.
Yes.
Now, Your Lordship, with regard to how impeachment is done, well, that's a bit straightforward. We can examine Article 181 and Section 33 of the County Governments Act, Your Lordship. But then I will also go to why impeachment is done, Your Lordship.
Yes.
Your Lordship, I will just quickly make reference to the case by Martin Nyaga Wambora and 3 others. And Lordship, further, the case of Sonko versus County Assembly of Nairobi City and 11 others.
Yes.
111 into brackets E008 of 2022. I have made reference to it in my submissions, Your Lordship.
Yes.
And Your Lordship, of impeachment, or rather it considers what impeachment, the why impeachment, Your Lordship. And the court says that the impeachment is a constitutional and political process, Your Lordship.
Yes.
And the Supreme Court further, in the case that I've noted, Your Lordship says that the design of impeachment is to achieve accountability, political governance, and personal responsibility. And the same is not just aimed at
the design of impeachment is to achieve
accountability, Your Lordship,
yes,
political governance, and personal responsibility. The court further states that the same, which is impeachment, is not, the aim is not necessarily to find criminal responsibility, Your Lordship.
yes.
So, Your Lordship, even when examining this matter, we are not looking at it from the lenses of criminal culpability of the governor, Your Lordship. It is accountability. It is political governance. It is personal responsibility about the governor, Your Lordship. With this background, Your Lordship, I turn to now the grounds in the application. Your Lordship, first I'll start with whether there's a prima facie case.
Yes.
Your Lordship, you've been told about the various omissions by the Senate. You've been told that there was an existing court order, Your Lordship.
Yes.
Your Lordship, I would like to submit that indeed, Your Lordship, and you'll check from the documents, that there was no court order stopping the impeachment, Your Lordship.
Yes.
Your Lordship, if you look at my application, dated the 3rd of September, which is to set aside the orders,
Yes.
Your Lordship, I have annexed a copy of the notice of motion that resulted into the ruling by Justice Kassan, Your Lordship. Your Lordship, from that application, Your Lordship.
Just a moment, let me find it. I've called you time.
Yes.
I'm there.
Yes, Your Lordship. I'll refer you to page 39.
Yes.
Yes, Your Lordship. I believe our application, Your Lordship, to set aside.
Yes.
Yes, Your Lordship, if you look at the application that resulted into those orders, Your Lordship,
Yes.
it makes reference at paragraph D, Your Lordship, to the impugned motion of impeachment dated 15th July 2024, Your Lordship. Your Lordship, if you look at the documents that have been submitted by the Senate, including the document
Motion of?
of 15th July 2024, Your Lordship.
Yes.
Your Lordship, if you look at our documents supplied that initiated the motion at the Assembly, the motion is dated 31st July 2024, Your Lordship. So, Your Lordship, it can't be that there were blanket orders stopping the impeachment, which is what the petitioner would like you to believe. And further, Your Lordship, just to buttress that the orders herein were meant for that specific motion, Your Lordship. In fact, they captioned it in their documents. They had the option of leaving it blanket, Your Lordship, for any possible impeachment. They didn't do that. They were specific to 15th July 2024. And the motion that resulted into the impeachment is the one dated 31st July, Your Lordship. And so, Your Lordship, I submit there were no court orders halting this process, both at the County Assembly and at the Senate, Your Lordship.
I'll pause your time to ask you a question. Mr. Kutuma used the phrase mischief, that he seems to be saying, and they've said it in their submissions, that the County Assembly, once served with a court order, realized that it was targeted at a specific date motion, came up with another motion on the very same reasons. Should a court uphold this?
Your Lordship, my answer to that briefly is that, one, I do not hold forth for the Assembly. So perhaps, Your Lordship, if the petitioner had sued the Assembly, we would have gotten their view about the proceedings before the Assembly, Your Lordship. But to the extent of the Senate, Your Lordship, and in fact, Your Lordship, that begs the question, one, condemn the County Assembly without hearing them as well?
Your time is back on.
All right. Under Article 260 of the Assembly Forum versus the Attorney General and 3 others. Your Lordship, in this case, this by the County Assembly,
Yes.
seeking payment for the remainder of term, a reduction in their time in office by declaration of a general election, Your Lordship. That was the Yes. Your Lordship, while dismissing this argument, the Supreme Court quoted a case, and I've made reference to it in my submissions, which is Attorney General X versus Joachim, which is a case from the Supreme Court,
Yes.
which one, Your Lordship, states that the legislature may, within limits of the Constitution, provide of incumbents from office, Your Lordship. But most importantly, Your Lordship, this decision stated that an elected office is a public